The lesson 9 in module 12 is proving lines parallel. This is a very simple lesson with only one objective, that is to apply angle relationship theorems to identify parallel lines and find missing values. The keywords are parallel and angle relationships, which we have already come across in the previous lessons. In this lesson, we will mainly focus on the converse of the former theorems. Before we move on, we need to identify parallel lines, how they are. Now, the railway track lines are always parallel to each other. Also, the ruler, if it's a proper ruler, then these sides will always be parallel to each other. Over here, we have converse theorems now. You can see these are corresponding angles, right? We have learned about this in the previous lesson. If two lines are cut by a transversal, so that corresponding angles are congruent. Now, this is corresponding to this. If they are congruent, and if this is congruent to this, then these lines are parallel. This is the transversal which is cutting, then they are parallel. Because in the previous lesson we had learned if two lines are cut by a transversal, if two lines are parallel and cut by a transversal, then the corresponding angles are congruent. Now we are telling because they are congruent, they are parallel. It is like, say, for example, Ahmed is studying well, he will get good marks. Or Ahmed is getting good marks because he's studying well. Because we can write the other way around. Now he is studying well, study well, so good marks. Okay. Now, because he's getting good marks, we can say that he is studying well. It's like converse, like that. I hope this makes sense and you understand. It's the other way around now. Let's look at this as well. Parallel postulate. This is just a postulate, it's not a converse over here. If a given line has a point not on the line, you can see this is a line and a point which is separate, then there exists exactly one line through the point which is parallel. You can draw only one line which is exactly parallel. All the other lines, if you draw like this, they are not parallel exactly. Only one will be exactly parallel. Now, another postulate says that alternate exterior angle converse. Now, what it means is, if at all you find, and you can read this by yourself, I'll explain you what it is. Now, see over here the example 1 and 5 are congruent. These are alternate exterior angles. If we find these two angles are congruent, then these two lines must be parallel. In the last case, in the last lesson, we had learned if A and B are parallel and it's cut by a transversal, then angle 1 and 5 will be congruent. But here we start with this angle 1 and 5 are congruent, then these lines are parallel. That's the converse. Similarly, we have consecutive interior angle theorem. Basically, interior angles are these angles which are inside. 2 and 3 or 7 and 6, and they are always supplementary. That is what we had learned before. So now it says if the measure of two consecutive interior angles are 180 or supplementary, then these two lines are parallel. It is just like the postulates or theorems which had come in the last lesson, which we came across. Now, identifying parallel lines. Now, again, alternate interior angles. Now, we know this is interior and this is alternate interior angle. Or we have 7 and 3, which has alternate interior angle, opposite. Now, if these both are congruent, then it states that the lines are parallel. Similarly, perpendicular also, a perpendicular transversal converse. It says that if two lines are perpendicular to the same line, now, this is the transversal. If the line is perpendicular like this, then we must know that these two lines are parallel. So this is what it states. Now let us solve some problems. Over here we have use the given information to determine which lines, if any, are parallel. State the postulate and theorem that justifies your answer. Now they will give us some questions like the angles which are congruent. See now, measure of 2 and 8, they are congruent, they have told. That means which lines will be parallel? Will L and M be parallel or A and B? Look carefully. These are interior angles of A and B. Alternate interior angles. So 2 and 8 are alternate interior angles of line A and B. So because angle 2 and angle 8 are congruent, A is parallel to B. So this is through alternate interior angles converse. Alternate interior angle we studied in the last lesson. Now we are studying the converse, and hence we are proving that A and B are parallel. These two straight line means they are parallel. Same way 3 and 11. Now 3 over here, 11. Now you can see this is regarding with the line L and M and their corresponding angles. So 3 and 11 are congruent. That means L and M are parallel because they are converse of corresponding angles theorem. We have now 12 and 14. Let's see what is 12 over here and 14 is over here. They are alternate exterior angles of A and B. So because the measure of angle 12 is congruent to angle 14, A and B lines are parallel by alternate exterior angles converse. So these are the answers. Now, over here there are options. You look into the options, think carefully and answer by yourself. Please pause the video now and answer. Read all the options and then answer. I hope you tried by pausing the video. Now we will solve it. Measure of angle 1 is over here. And what is the other angle? It's 15. So now, this is not exactly alternate exterior or interior. See now, if it's this and this fine, this and this fine, this is something this and over here. Do we have any relationship between them? In fact, we do not. It is not possible to determine whether the lines are parallel. But if at all we were given something else, yes, we can find their parallel because it would be alternate interior or exterior. Now over here also, if it was this and this is interior angles, these are exterior angles. Or if you're talking about this, sorry, this is interior, these both, and these are exterior. But now we are dealing with this and this extreme end. We have no relationship between these both. So no, it is not possible for us to tell what exactly they are. So it is not possible to determine because we do not have enough information. Now what about 3 and 5? 3, 5. Yes, we can easily solve them. Here are the options. Try to pause the video and solve it by yourself. I'm sure many of you might have come to the conclusion they are alternate because they're opposite angles, and they are interior because they're inside, and because of alternate interior converse, the line L and M are parallel. That's option A. The last problem now over here we have 3 and 10. Let's see where is angle 3 and over here is angle 10. It is 180 degree. What does 180 degree mean? It means it's supplementary. Yes, if that is supplementary, then it is consecutive or same side, consecutive interior angles converse. So let us see consecutive interior angles converse, and which are the lines parallel? Which does it touch? N and K. So this is how we solve it. Very simple and easy problems. Please make sure you know the theorems. You do not need to by heart them. Look at the figure, analyze which theorem it connects, and then you can easily solve these problems.